Speech off.
Hi everybody, it's Beverly at Bama Blind, and right now I'm just showing you my Christmas tablescape. I'm going to describe it for my blind viewers because most of us, including myself, when you go into somebody's house, you don't get to go touch everything, and nobody takes the time, as far as I know, to describe every little thing that they've put into a tablescape. And when you sit down to eat, you find your fork and your napkin and your spoon and you eat, and you're doing pretty good to not get your food all over you. So I'm going to show you my tablescape, and I'll start with the table itself. I'm standing in the center of the table, and on my side of the table is 3 chairs. On the other side of the table are 3 chairs, and at each end there is 1 large chair. So this table seats 8 people very comfortably, and even 10. What I've done is I started out with, I'm going to move around down here to the left-hand side. I started out with a red, silky, satiny, crimson tablecloth, which is Christmas. I spread it all over the table, and it doesn't hang to the floor, it just hangs down a little bit. And then the very next step I did is I took a garland. It's a very simple garland, and I have 2 of them. One I placed down the middle of this table, and one I placed on the mantle, which is straight across from me as I'm sitting at this table at the center point. But what I do is I take the garland. This garland particularly has sparkly pine cones. It also, and they're very, very real pine cones. They're not fake, they're real pine cones. And then it's got little sparkly berries and gold balls, which just kind of stick out at all different angles. And then it's got some twists of what would be greenery, but they're little twigs. And so I place the garland down. I fold the garland in half. It's 5 feet long, and I fold it in half. So I hold it way up over my head and let the 2 free ends dangle down. And I take, and then I even it out so that I've got equal 2.5 feet on one side and 2.5 feet on the other side of the fold. Then I place the fold right in the middle of the table. It's easy for this table because under the tablecloth is a table pad, which has got a seam right in the middle. So I just place my left hand with a center point right there, and then I spread the garland to the right and spread it out and flatten it out, and then I take the center point and then I spread it all the way to the left. Then I've got other things that I like to nest inside of this garland, and they're all gold accents because this year I chose to make everything a gold accent. So I have 3 gold mercury glass finials that are lit from within. There's 1 large one, there's 1 medium size, and there's 1 small one. They're all nested into this garland, and I just naturally take the pine cones and I wrap them around wherever the base of the finial is. Then flanking either side of the finials are some mercury glass pedestals, which are gold, and they are lit within. And then on top of those, there are lit candles. They're white pillared lit candles with a mirror base. So that's on either side of the finials. Then the very last thing I did for my centerpiece is I took picks, and these are champagne frosted sparkly colored picks, and I just layered those in to the center part. I just layered it in, and I poked them in and just kind of made an extra layer that has a champagne color. And then I tied that champagne color into the napkins. Each place setting has its own cloth napkin, and then I tied the cloth napkins with napkin rings, which are tiny, tiny little pine cones with green sprigs and gold sparkles. Again, it goes with the green and the gold and the pine cones that are on the centerpiece. Then I took my gold flatware and I placed the fork and the knife and the spoon on either side of each place setting. And the place setting itself starts out with a gold charger. So a charger is nothing more than a flat decorative plate that sits on top of the tablecloth. And then in the center of that, I placed my dinner plate. And Alexa, go back. I'm going to see if she'll play the music again. In the center of this dinner plate is red berries and green holly leaves. All around the edges of this dinner plate are green holly leaves with red berries that match the tablecloth. And the green, of course, is Christmas. It's a bread and butter plate and a salad plate. And if I scan over to my walls, I don't know if you can see this, but all the walls in this room are a deep, 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 rich green. And they stay that way all year, so it makes it perfect for Christmas decorating. Just add the champagne color. My accent color this year is gold. And add the china, add the pine cones in the middle. I'm going to go around the end of the table over here because I'm going to show you the mantle. The mantle has a matching garland. The mantle is only about 4.5 feet long. So we've got a 5 foot, we have a 5 foot long garland, same thing. And I layered it with some little frosted picks that are champagne color. And then otherwise it's just plain real pine cones with sparkles and little twigs and gold balls. And then on this mantle, we have 2 more matching candle holders, mercury glass candle holders that are lit from within and they're gold. And then on top of those are white pillar candles, which now match the centerpiece of the table there. And I hope I'm getting it now. If you can see on the far side of the room, my back is to the mantle and I'm facing just the opposite direction. And there's a paned glass window there. And at the top of the paned glass window is a really, really pretty, unlit, but white pine cone, magnolia blossom, and leaf with sparkle big wreath. Right below that wreath is a Christmas tree that's lit, and it's also got a Christmas tree skirt that I made out of the very same material as this red tablecloth. So the Christmas tree, the very small 3 foot tall Christmas tree, which is lit, has gold sparkly presents underneath that are made of resin. And it has a red Christmas tree skirt. Now, flanking either side of this Christmas tree, which is now centered in the dining room, right in front of this window, and underneath that beautiful magnolia wreath, on this buffet, I have garland on the very back of the buffet, and it matches the wreath. So it's pine cone with big magnolia leaves with sparkles, pine cones, and magnolia blossoms. I also have a dish right here, which is it's a serving dish that goes with my china, and it has candles in it that look like baked goods, and they smell like baked goods. I'll take these little napkin rings out, but when I light those, they smell really good, but they really do look like baked goods. They look like cinnamon rolls and Cinnabons. On this buffet, on the right side, where there's an antique mirror with a gold frame over it. I have my cream and sugar that go with my Christmas china. Here's the cream pitcher, here's the sugar pitcher, and here is the tea pitcher, although we serve coffee right here. Now, I forgot to tell you that on the place we also have tiny little mugs. They're actually teacups. They're not mugs. And most of us aren't very familiar with teacups. So at Christmas, we either will put a honey tea in these teacups, or we will put eggnog, because some of us like eggnog, and some like hot apple cider. So I hope you've enjoyed this tour of just how I do my dining room. This year is 2020, and this will be the first time we've gathered around a table. Every single one of us, there are going to be 9 of us, every single one has been socially isolated for the last 10 days. So in this unusual year, please remember to keep the faith and try to stay happy and look for that peace wherever you can find it. And I wish you a very healthy, safe, and happy Merry Christmas.